All right, what is going on, everyone on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stock market stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel and tuning in for the first time, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another stream or video for you guys. So we're back now again, part two. A little bit happened while I was gone, actually. Like clockwork, like I mentioned, every time I seem to get out of a trade, the market tends to go on up, or whatever. If I'm shorting, continue to go down, or if I'm going long, continue to go up almost immediately after I get out. And that's exactly what happened. Those of you that don't know, we did a tiny little scalp trade, 3 points, $15 profit on the micro E-mini S&P 500. And like clockwork, essentially right after I got out of that trade, continued to go. Actually, let's see. Let's take a look at the time here. So it was 9:05 a.m. This is Central Time, of course. We're in the trade less than 20 minutes. But so we'll look at 9:05 to 9:23. So we got in it right around here, 9:04, 9:05 in this range. And then we got out of it at 9:23. So as you can see here, when we started to get a little bit of resistance, I decided to go ahead and hop out. We pulled down a little bit. We went up a little bit further. My target was 2,900. So like clockwork, it actually hit my target. I was just worried that our 34 EMA was going to act as quite a bit of resistance. I did mention in the stream, I said I would not be surprised, however, if we come up and test the SMA, which is exactly what we did, essentially, right after I got out of the trade. A few minutes later, we came up all the way back to about 2908, came back down, and now we're back under 2,900 again. I'm looking at a potential long play once again here in a little bit. I'm not playing right now. We didn't really go oversold. Currently, we do have somewhat, I wouldn't necessarily say a double bottom forming here, but definitely building some support again right around that 28.95 support level. So we'll see what happens overall. I was thinking about going short if we came back right in this area. I was thinking, okay, I'll probably bounce again. I want to see us retest that 29.06 to 29.09 level. And if we get up to right around there, then I'll go ahead and short. We didn't, so I didn't short. If I did, I would have made a few dollars on that trade for sure, about a $25 reward there, but kind of just sitting right now, just waiting for something new to happen. So with that, I'll go ahead and just make sure that the stream is doing okay. Looks like we got one of you tuning in so far. But yeah, like I said, we're up $15 after fees and commissions, like 12.25, something like that, because the fees and commissions on Tastyworks, we'll go ahead and pull a trade up here. For example, say you wanted to, I'm not going to send it, it's not going to show you. I forgot, if I hit send, it's actually going to send it, and I don't want that to happen. But it's like $1. I'll pull it up on my phone actually, just so, and then I'll show you guys here what it looks like on Tastyworks. So it shows that the fees is 52 cents, commissions is 85 cents, and this is on the when you're opening the trade and closing the trade. So it's $1.37 for the open, $1.37 for close. So $2.74. I just round up and say $2.75 to keep it simple. There's a breakdown of it. Hopefully the camera will pick it up good for you guys. Like I said, I'm not placing this trade. I'm just showing you guys how kind of the Tastyworks platform looks. I would do it on the laptop, but it would actually send the trade if I did that. But the commissions overall, very cheap. I love Tastyworks platform. They're by far like one of the easiest apps, and their computer platform is relatively smooth too. It was originally created for more of options traders, but now they're really transitioning into the futures market as well. They have the micros, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Sunther. Yeah, it's 137 on the open, 137 on the close, so 274 total. For the total trade from open to close, it's 274. So you have to essentially be up about a half of a point to 3/4 of a point on the micro to cover your fees, commissions, all that BS. And then once you go up 3/4 of a point, you're actually in the profit by what, about close to $1, not quite $1, but you're in the green essentially after half a point to 3/4 of a point. And my target profit is usually on the low end 3 points. I mean, I'll always cover if need be, of course, but on the low end, my targets are usually 3 points. On the high end, usually somewhere around like 10. I'm not really someone that tries to go for big gains or anything like that, especially with day trades. Now, if you're a swing trader of the micro e-minis, then by all means, set your targets for 20, 50, especially with all this volatility. You can definitely get damn near whatever price target you want right now. But yeah, and if you don't know what Tastyworks is, I think I have a link down in the description box. It should like take you straight to their like commissions page, where it shows a breakdown of how much it is to buy equities, options, futures, micros. It should show a layout of all that. So if you're interested in that at all, that should be down in the description box. So now, since my fiance and the baby are up, I'm back in my little office area, so to speak, in my room. I hate trading downstairs or doing live streams downstairs because my dogs like to whine for no reason, as I'm sure you guys seen in that stream, and it gets a little annoying. So since this morning, pretty much since a little bit after market open, we've kind of been in a little bit of a slight descending. We'll just draw it out somewhere like that. I'm not trying to be 100% or anything, but you can see we had our low right around 28.91. So we're almost kind of in this little wedge here. Over the last, hour or two, about 2 hours now. Just realized my laptop's getting close to low battery. Usually I have it plugged in, but since I moved from downstairs to upstairs, it got unplugged. So we're kind of in this little wedge right now. We'll see what happens overall. Honestly, as low as the market was this morning, a little over 1% down, I would not be surprised if we try to break out of this wedge and go to the upside. But just from recent trend over the last few trading sessions, you can see we've been in an overall descending pattern. We keep making lower highs, lower lows. So, I mean, it could go either way. History tells us we'll go ahead and go to the upside, but with all of the news, BS, tariffs, this and that, I wouldn't be surprised if we break it to the downside as well. So, we'll kind of see what happens. But overall, as you can see, lower lows. Our high is sticking right around that 29.10 range. So, we'll see what happens here if we break out to the upside or if we break to the downside. Does look like we're almost trying to form a nice little double bottom here, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep that right there just because it's going to be a little bit of resistance, probably right around 29.03, somewhere in that range. We're going to have a little bit of resistance. We'll take a look. I actually want to look at like the 15-minute. Here. So we're still pretty neutral on our 15-minute, 30-minute. Market's really kind of trying to decide. We've been bouncing, like even on the Dow Jones over there, as you can see, we have CNBC pulled up just for to keep an update on everything. The Dow's kind of been bouncing back and forth between like down around 270 to 300, as low as just over 400. Market's really kind of just bouncing back and forth by about 1/4%. It seems right now 1/4 to 0.5%, damn near actually. I mean, we've had lows of 29.91. We've had a high of all the way up to 29.13. So I mean, we've had a good little trading range, about a 20-point trading range right now. We're right in the middle of it right now, right around 2900 to 2902. Like I said, I think 2903 is going to be our first area of resistance here coming up. If we break through that, 2903, 2903.50, break through that, we could potentially try to run up again to 2910, that 2908 to 2910 range. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, me personally, I'm just sitting in cash right now, so we're right around that resistance right now. testing that SMA. We'll see what happens. Probably going to pull back at least once before it tries to break it again. We are now above our 8 and 12 and 34 EMA, so that's a good sign actually. But yeah, we're going to have quite a resistance right in this 2903 to 2904 range. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe pull back a little bit. If we do, I might actually try to hop in. I don't really want to because I don't want to try to chase this trade. Our RSI is already up to about 50 currently. So like I said, pull back a little bit. I just don't really like to chase trades that much. Let's look at the 5-minute chart too. I hadn't looked at that really. So our 5-minute is kind of split on what should happen here. So we're back down to 2900. So like I said, pull back after testing that resistance level of 2903, 2904. So yeah, this morning has been quite a little roller coaster so far. But we shall see what happens. And that's why you use a cup instead of a mason jar. Take a look at everything else. Oil's down pretty big today. I told you guys anything above $55 is when it's a perfect time to short oil, like clockwork. Let's take a look at that actually, because I haven't looked at oil in a while. So let's take a look. Pull up that 20-day chart or even just the 10-day. So again, we got up above, actually we got above 56. But like I said, anything above 55 on oil this time of the year, it's time to short. I mean, oil it does this trend almost every year, no matter if it's in the 55, 65, 40, whatever range it's in, whatever like $10 range that it is in at the time. I always say once it gets above 55, 65, whatever the case may be, especially when we're in fall months, like once we're going around August through October in that range, if you get above like a 55 or 65, anything 5 essentially type of range, go ahead and short the hell out of it because it's going to pull down to at least that nearest 10th. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way down to $50 here in the coming week, 1 to 3 weeks at the max. So if you shorted oil, you're having a good day so far. You're up, what is $10? Was it $10 per penny? Something like that. So you're up at least like was that $185 or something like that? Yeah, I think that'd be $185. Or no. I don't remember. Is it $10 per penny? Let's pull up. Can't think straight this morning. Let's get our calculator pulled up here. So if you had 183 pennies, and I believe it's a $10 move. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's $10 move, so that's $1,800 of profit on oil if you shorted it. And that's just if you short it since the overnight trading session started. If you started shorting it when I suggested, which is pretty much any time above 55, then, I mean, you're still up pretty much actually dead on right where we're at right now. So either way, good trade on oil if you shorted it, or I don't know if shorted is a word, if you short it. But let's take a look over here. VIX is still hovering right around 1970 to 20. Honestly, in my opinion, we'll get VIX pulled up here too. I was talking about VIX a little bit, I think in our overnight trading a couple days ago maybe. Anytime VIX tends to get up above 20, that's usually a good time to get into either MYM, Dow Jones, or MES, or just ES, whatever you're trading. If you're trading micros or just the E-minis, whatever you're trading. Anytime we seem to get above like that 20 area, 20 to 21 is generally, at least based on the recent trading pattern, is a good time to go ahead and go long the market because just if we pull up just the overall VIX lately, you can see right around that 20 to, I mean, we get up as high as like 22, 24 whenever shit's really hitting the fan, of course. But when it's just like kind of China news talk, all that stuff, we'll zoom in here kind of on this last year. you can see overall that right around that 20 to 21 range seems to be, for the most part, the area of resistance when it comes to VIX. Now, obviously, VIX is more so just a measurement of fear, all that good stuff. But just going based on the recent trend, anytime this thing gets up near 20 or even for sure above 20, that's usually a pretty good time to go ahead and go long the market. You can see it got up to 20 or pretty much 20 this morning, got smacked down all the way back down to 1940 roughly, and now it's back up to 1975. So I mean, it's getting pretty close to that area where I would like to go long the market. But like I said, we're waiting on some things to play out here. Stain on my shirt now from that coffee. So hopefully our stream is still doing all right too. If you're new to the channel, like I said, we'd love to have you here. Love to have you here, man. I cannot talk this morning. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. Hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live. We do these live stock market tradings. For the most part, I focus on futures just because that's what I trade. I trade the micro, E-mini S&P 500 99% of the time. Looks like we're trying to break out above that resistance now. We'll see what happens if it holds. But we talk a lot about futures, and obviously if you guys have any questions or stocks you want me to take a look at, especially while I'm not in any position. I'm not in any position currently. Had a good little scalp trade for three points or so earlier this morning when the market first opened up, but right now I'm just sitting, waiting. So if you guys have any stocks you want me to take a look at or any questions in general, just shout it out there in the chat. That's what it's there for at the end of the day. That's the whole point of doing this, is for us to all help one another. But this is pretty much what I look at for the most part. We have the micro E-mini NASDAQ pulled up, oil, VIX, and then the micro E-mini of the Dow. And if you don't know what the micro E-mini is by now, well, I have a bunch of videos about that, but just to sum it up, the micro E-mini is just 1/10 the size of the actual E-mini of the S&P 500. If you don't know what the E-mini is, it's just essentially, just to keep it in layman's terms, it's just trading futures. That's all it is. So when the E-mini moves up 1 point, if you're going long the market and the market moves up 1 point, you will make $50 on the E-mini. So if you're trading the micro E-mini, since it's 1/10 every point, you're getting $5 of profit or loss. Now that's a huge difference, but there's also a huge difference in the price to get in the trade. The E-mini, it costs almost $7,000, pretty much $7,000 per trade, where the micro E-mini only costs $700. It's about $694, $695, depending on who you use for your broker to trade this. There's Ant Future, stuff like that too, but I just use Tastyworks for mine. They have pretty low commissions. It's like $270, $275 for the round, for the entire trade. $1.37 on the open, $1.37 on the close. So looks like we're gonna try to break out again. What I liked, I think it was on the 5-minute chart. A little bit of a double bottom, right around that 28.95 range, which we called out as a support multiple times, not just earlier in the trading session, but throughout the last week, really. 28.95 has been kind of that make or break level. You can see we tested it multiple times. We actually went a little bit below it today, which is what made me personally slightly bearish, because we continue again just to make lower highs and lower lows over the last few days. Obviously we had a good little run up to almost 29.50. We didn't quite get to it. We fell back down and we've been falling ever since. Obviously we have a lot of news headlines going on right now, trade war BS going on, but overall it's just a sideways market right now. Pretty much your area to go long and area to go short, from what I've noticed, your area to go long is somewhere around 2,900, 2890 to 2,900, and your area to go short is anywhere above 2,910, essentially, for the time being. We're kind of stuck in this like 20-point range right now, 20 to 30-point range, which is why I'm not in a position right now. We're stuck right in the middle of it. So And I have a new mic, of course, so hopefully, like I said, that's all doing all right. No sound issues or anything like that. Hopefully I don't sound like I'm far away or anything like that. But if there's ever any issues, feel free to holler at me in that chat. And I see we got like 5 of you tuning in, so let me hear from you all. Like, where are you all from, or what do you all trade? Do you trade micro futures, just the E-minis? Do you trade options, penny stocks? Like, what do you all trade, and how have you all been doing over the last week or so? I'd love to hear from you guys. Me personally, I started trading, for anyone that's new and doesn't really like know me, I started trading the micro E-mini futures. I took a break for a while for, close, not quite a year, but close to a year. Took a little time off from trading and whatnot. We found out we were having a baby, so we were just piling up money for that. And plus, I was just doing stupid high risk trades and weekly options and stuff and lost my ass. I mean, you can see my profit loss year to date on this specific account is atrocious because, again, I was doing stupid high risk trades. But I started trading the micro E-mini futures just a week ago, and we are up. I started with $800 in the account. We're pretty much up $100 this last week because, honestly, I love the futures. I think anyone and everyone can trade these futures. I mean, you can literally sit here and just scalp 3 to 5 points, especially in a volatile market like this. You can literally just scalp 3 to 5 points here, 3 to 5 points there, and just start building a small account. And that's what I really built this channel around, was for people starting out trading, don't really know a whole lot, trying to figure out how the market moves, how to know when to buy, how to know when to sell. Obviously, you're never going to time it 100% perfect, just like this trade earlier. I got in prematurely, dropped a few more points, but I went based on just previous history of 28.95 being a support. I got in like right at 28.95. I had a target sell of 29, but we were having quite a bit of resistance, so I went ahead, took the profit, 3-point profit, and moved on. But I just love that over things like penny stocks and options, where it's all literally just like options, for example. I've been harping on this for a bit, but options, you have all those Greeks working against you. Like, if you're not buying an option that's essentially 1 month out or further, you're really risking a lot of money there. And I mean, if you start going out a month, you're talking hundreds, if not $1,000 plus per trade anyways, depending on the volatility. So why put up that much money for something that risky when you can simply just go into a micro mini future and control? Like, you actually, that's my thing, is I like having control of my investment, control of my money. I don't like this high risk stuff where I don't necessarily if there's 2 or 3 things about me and trading and investing, I have to be able to understand it completely. I have to be able to predict it with very good accuracy, like very good, 80-90% accuracy. And I don't like to lose, of course. I mean, Warren Buffett always said, rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So, I mean, losing money, I mean, that's part of the game here and there, of course. I had a good, bad little run of about 3 or 4 trades in a row last week where I lost money. But overall, we're still up $100 over the last week. So that's what it's all about. Just slowly learn from every trade and find something that works for you. You might not like micro E-mini futures, or futures in general for that matter, but I would suggest anyone that is like starting out to just take a look at futures, micro E-mini specifically. Start small, start paper trading, and that's what I did. I started paper trading the micro E-mini futures for about 3 months, and I mean, once I was up. I think I can get it pulled up here. I actually looked at it last night, and apparently I forgot to close 2 shorts from God knows how long ago. So those are down like $200 or something like that. But when I was using the paper trading account active, yeah, I'm down like 30 points on that position. It's a 2 contract position. It's 2 shorts at 28.80. But overall, I mean, you can see that account is up like $6,000. So, I mean, I proved to myself over a period of 2 to 3 months. I was like, you know what? I found a good little rhythm. I found a way to trade these micro mini futures that works for me. I'm going to start out just trading 1 contract at a time. And that's a whole nother beauty of this. There's no PDT. You don't have to worry about holding a position because, man, I really don't want to burn my day trade. I mean, there were so many times trading SPY options and all that stuff where I held an option because I was like, I really don't want to waste a day trade cutting a loss. I want to use my day trade to cover profit, and then you end up just burning a bigger hole, and that's what happened here. I mean, I was down close to like $1,000 on the account overall. That was when I took a step back, and obviously we had the baby coming, so we started saving up money for all that. But then these micro mini futures came out, and like I said, just started paper trading them for the first few months, and now we are using real money, and we're up $100 our first week. So, and keep it in perspective, guys. I mentioned this in the part 1 of this live stock market trading session earlier this morning. When you're trading the micro, yeah, $100 in a week doesn't sound like a lot, but it's trading one contract, keep in mind, and your micro is, again, 1/10 the size of the E-mini. So if I was up $100 on the micro, what would I be up on the actual E-mini? I'd be up $1,000 the first week, because it's a simultaneous, I mean, it's same charts, same trades, all that good stuff, just one is 1/10 the size of the other. So you got to keep it in perspective when you're starting out. Don't be like, man, I'm only up $25 this week, or man, I'm only up 5 or 100 or 200, whatever you're up, however much money you're trading with, however many contracts you're trading with, whatever. Like, just always think of the big picture. Whatever you're up, imagine that being 10x essentially, because once you hop over to the ES, that is where you'll be making your big boy money. And it's I mean, you won't even notice the difference. I mean, let's just look at these two charts. So here's ES, here is MES. I mean, it's the same thing, guys. So I mean, whenever you decide to make that hop over to ES, just don't overthink it. It's just bigger numbers, bigger profit, bigger loss at the end of the day. You still do the same risk management. You still do everything the same way. It's just you're going to profit a lot more. Profit or loss if you're not careful. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I started too, Sunther. Actually, for those of you that don't know, that are new, like to me in the channel, if you go way back, I mean, I started with penny stocks. I mean, I remember I was trading Turtle Beach. I forget the name, I forget the ticker now for that. Man, what is it? It's HEAR. That was it. I started trading this POS whenever I first started trading. This was about a little over a year ago now, year and a half ago. This thing was right around like $3, $2 to $3, and then all of a sudden it popped up to 34. Of course, whenever I wasn't holding it, but I remember I was trading this thing for literally like $2 to $3 here and there, like just right in this range is where I was trading it a lot. Because this is when I started getting active trading, was about February, March of 2018, or was it 2018 or 17? I believe it was 18 was when I really started trading a lot. And it popped up over $34, but looky there, like clockwork, pump and dump, back down under $10. So that's where I started. And then I started trading SPY futures, which of course SPY moves pretty much hand in hand with the overall S&P 500. If we look at MES, you'll see pretty similar chart overall. But I didn't like the inconsistency because, like what you said, time decay, all that BS that you have to deal with. So, micro mini futures, in my opinion, futures in general for that matter, not just the micro, are by far the best overall trading strategy, in my opinion. No matter if you're longer term investor, swing trader, day trader, whatever the case may be. So we'll see what happens here though over the next few minutes. It looks like we're trying to break out, but keep in mind the descending pattern is still kind of holding. If we break out above 2907, which it looks like we might be getting ready to do so here, then we could be reversing and continuing to go on up, and we might even retest 2915. Like I said, I'm still not going to play it just because, as you can see now, we're going to signs of overbought, but that does not mean by any means that we could not continue to run up and retest that 2912 to 2915 range. So we'll see what happens. I wish I had gotten in. I almost got in right here. I saw the market was getting ready. It actually flashed oversold briefly when we had this wick right here, and I almost hopped in, but I felt like I was going to get in too early again. So I kind of wish I did. I was going to get in at like 20, I think it was 28.9750 if I recall. Let's see. Yeah, it was like 28.9750 was right around where I was going to get in. We would have been up, what, about 11 points right now if I just got in and held that position for a little bit. But I'd rather miss out on a little bit of profit than get in when I'm not 100% sure about a trade and end up losing some money because of that. So make sure everything's doing all right. We got 6 of you tuning in. Like I said, if you all have any questions or if you have any ticker symbols you want me to take a look at, I'm not in any trades right now, so just feel free to shout it out there in the chat. Or if you have any questions about like the micro E-mini or futures in general for that matter, just shout it out there. Like I said, that's what the chat's over here for at the end of the day. So we can all chat it up. Pull up our 5 minute here. So we've got plenty of room to keep running. So like I said, I mean, I honestly think we're probably going to head to at least 29.10, possibly try to retest that 29.13, 29.15 area. I'm just not super confident at the moment in that though. And that's the biggest thing too, guys. If you're not confident, just don't make the trade. Like, just the best trade sometimes is just no trade at all. I would rather not make any money, not lose any money for a day, rather than place a trade I'm not 100% confident in, and then the moment it starts going against me a little, I don't care about that. And then the moment it starts going against me a little, cut the trade because I wasn't confident and I didn't know what to do with the trade. So keep everything in perspective. It's like right now, everything is so conflicting. There's so many like just neutral signs right now. MACD's not really showing nothing. RSI is smack dab at 50. Our DMI is literally, it doesn't even know what to think right now. I mean, even our 1 minute chart, we've had a little bit of buying going on, but I mean, even the 1 minute chart's kind of conflicting. The ones I use the most, of course, is the 1 minute, 5 minute. I've been using the 15 minute a little more thanks to Mike. I don't know if Mike's watching right now, but I've been using the 15 and 30 minute a little bit more frequently. And then I use my 20 day 1 hour to try to get kind of a broader picture of what's been going on, which, as you can see, literally flatlined over the last couple weeks. I guess if there's one bright side that we can say for the bull case is that this SMA has been holding beautifully lately. Now, one thing about it though, if you test it enough, it's a matter of time before it gives, and then you end up falling to the downside. So I don't like the fact that we're testing it repeatedly. I mean, just over the last, few days really, we've tested it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've tested it 8 times just in the last few days. So, I mean, you test something enough, it's kind of like when we're trying to break a resistance. I mean, you push that resistance enough, eventually you're going to break through and go up higher. Same thing to the downside. You test a support over and over and over, eventually it's going to give. So, I mean, it's good that that support's been holding as well as it has, but at the same time, we got to be cautious with that. Washington Post. What a joke. And like I said, if you're new to the channel and tuning in for the first time, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. We have a Discord group chat. I don't know if I mentioned it recently. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an app you can download on any smartphone. And if you click the link in the description box that says something like our Discord group or something like that, it'll take you straight to our group. Super easy to join, free. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel. There's like 100 or so of us in there now. It's just awesome to communicate with a bunch of like-minded people, of course. How's it going there, Jay Howie? Do I trade oil contracts? I don't, just because again I'm starting with a smaller account. Um, I love oil. I mean, I've been oil is what got me into the stock market. Actually, I had been following like oil futures and stuff like that since I was like 13 years old for some reason. Like I've just always kind of been. I wouldn't say obsessed, but just I've always had like a thing for just the stock market, and it all started with oil. My dad was always telling me, "Oh man, the price of oil's going up, gas is going to go up when you go fill up the cars, all that stuff." So I mean, I've just always kind of been in tune. I know kind of how oil moves over and over again. I mentioned this about a week, maybe a little bit longer ago. I don't remember when we talked about oil last. But I mentioned, I was like, anytime oil's getting above 55, it's time to short it. It's just that time of the season. Oil's going to come down. I wouldn't be surprised if it tests $50 by the end of September. I think I said possibly by the end of August at that point, but I said August, September, we're going to test $50. If it goes above 55, short the hell out of it. It doesn't belong at $55 to $60 at this time of the year. And sure enough, we got up right around like 56. 56 was a huge resistance, and then boom, we're down under $54 today. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues to sell off, maybe even a little bit more today. I will say this, if this continues to pull back, market overall is going to continue to pull back. So that'll be something to watch. You can see here, last hour or so, oil's been trying to pull back up to the EMAs, the 12 and 8 EMA. Man, I'd love to trade oil though, because like I know this trade right now, if you'd shorted oil at that $56, let's say you even just got in at like $56, you'd be up essentially what, about, let's just say 250. So that's 250 cents times $10. That's what, like $2,500 of profit, right? Yeah, $2,500 of profit if you started shorting it at $56, which I definitely would have. So I love oil. It's just a little bit. It is expensive to trade. That's another thing. But in the future, I will trade oil also. But for the most part, I trade just the S&P 500 micro specifically, because this only requires $700 essentially per trade. Where I know even if you trade I know there's a mini oil. I think it's like / was it NQ? Or something like that. No, what is it? Is it MNQ? No, man, what the hell is it? I forgot what it was. But I know there's a micro oil as well, but it still costs what, like $2,000, $3,000, something like that to trade. So, I mean, it still takes quite a bit more capital than what I'm trading with right now. But here in the next year, we'll probably trade that. But I do love oil. It is I like trading oil. Honestly, there's all the people talk about gold all the damn time. I hate gold. I don't understand why people trade gold, in all honesty. It's so inconsistent. It's pure speculation, essentially. Oil, if you just follow the patterns that it seems to do almost on a yearly, quarterly basis, and don't even like take OPEC into consideration, if you just go strictly based off of patterns that oil does year after year, quarter after quarter, even month after month in some cases, I mean, you can make quite a bit of money just simply going long or going short going, I was reading your comment as I was finishing my thought. Going long or going short oil. So let's see. So we got close. We actually got above our recent push up this morning. Again, I'm just still sitting out. I'm just trying to wait on some sort of the next move, essentially, so to speak. I honestly, my guts tell me that it's going to be another move to the upside, and we're going to test 29.15 one more time. But I do not want to make that move right now. Like, I don't trust it enough. So our SMA is at like 29.0550 right there. On our 5-minute chart, had a little bit of buying going on, obviously, for a little bit now. So again, what I tend to do is I wait for a signal of oversold. That's when I tend to hop long. I really don't play short a whole lot. I tend to get burned a little bit whenever I short. I mean, I made money shorting. Now, a lot of my first few trades this last week on the Micro Mini was shorts. Actually, I think like I did 4 in a row and profited on them, like $15 here, $20 there, 10 here. Shorting the market briefly, but I just notice when I go long, I tend to be right more so than when I go short. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, the market always wants to come back up. It doesn't matter how much it goes down, what it goes down because of. I mean, just look at a 20-year chart. I mean, the market always goes up. I mean, it just does. I mean, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. I mean, we can pull up, let's see here. Just do a 20-year chart. We'll just do a monthly graph of it. I mean, you can see here, obviously, this was when the bottom of the market happened during the Great Recession. But then ever since then, it's been going up. Is this 20 years back? Yeah, this is about 20 years back. So you can see, came down, still came back up, came down, still went back up. Tried coming down again, still up. So, I mean, yes, we are still near the top where we've been at for a while. But even if we decide to finally come down, which we will someday we are definitely going to come down to about 2,000, 1,700 to 2,000. We will definitely return there at some point. That'll obviously be when the recession happens, but it'll still bounce and continue on up. It's just what the market does. So I'm going to wait out here for a little bit. We might be getting ready to go into a little bit of selling here. I would not be surprised if that means oil is continuing to drop. As you can see, oil just pulled back a little bit as well. Not that they're like literally hand in hand with one another, but I notice a lot of times when oil is down big, like when oil's down 2%, 5%, 7% in some cases, the market tends to go long and shit with it. So we'll see what happens here over the next probably 10 to 15 minutes. I think we pull back a little bit. But we could not too. Because that 29, this is the area to watch. 29.03 to 29.04. This was a little bit of resistance early on whenever we were making this, where were we at? This was a little bit of resistance when we were trying to make this next move higher. So I want to see if it's going to hold. You can see our SMA is right around that 29.03 level. So I would like to see 29.03 to this 29.04 level hold. It may not because we have plenty of room to move to the downside on the minute chart. If that doesn't hold, then I definitely want to see us hold 2900 to 2902. Probably 2901 roughly is where the market would go oversold if it decides to keep pushing down. So, we got 5 of you still tuning in. It's awesome stuff. And like I said, if you guys have any questions at all, shout them out there in the chat. Ticker symbols, anything like that. If you want me to take a look at a specific stock or ETF or future or anything like that. We were just looking at oil for a little bit, talking about oil. Like I said, this is what all I keep up. This is what I take a look at the most. But if you guys have any stocks or anything you want me to take a look at, just let me know, and I'll definitely be glad to do that for you, especially while I'm not in a trade. So 10-year yield drops to a 3-year low. Okay. So, big waiting game. And that's another thing to keep in mind, guys. Today, we're probably not going to have a whole lot of volume. Everybody's coming back from the Labor Day weekend. All that good stuff. I mean, you can see our biggest volume yesterday on the 1 minute chart was, 941. And I mean, you can see so far today our biggest volume is obviously going to be a lot more, 2,000, so about double the volume on that drop. But you can see overall, I mean, our volume really still isn't too high. I mean, we're talking a few hundred per minute versus yesterday. I mean, it was in the low 50s, near 100 for most of the day. So, I mean, we have more volume for sure today, but it's not going to be crazy volume, I don't believe. I mean, let's pull up the 5-day, 5-minute. You can see in that period of 5 minutes, we had what? 13,000, is that what it said? 13,000 compared to recently 9,000, 10,000. So I mean, we're still, the volume's gonna be lighter today, but at least it's not as light as the past few days. So Dow Jones is down 1.25. S&P is down. I think the S&P is actually doing, no, actually Nasdaq's doing the best so far today, which is rare because usually the Nasdaq is the one that tends to drop like a rock. Makes sense that the Dow is down as much as it is. Trade war tends to affect a lot of these Dow stocks a lot more than the overall broader S&P 500. There's plenty of companies that the trade war really doesn't affect at all. But so down 425 at lows. Right now it's down 329. So we're kind of, well, we are heading into lunch hour now on the East Coast too, so that's something to keep in mind. Probably not going to have a whole lot of movement for the next probably half hour or so. You wouldn't think. Sometimes we jump on low volume, so we'll see. But I kind of expect us to kind of stay in this like 2908 to 290350 range for the next half hour or so. Just not enough for me to want to hop in to a long or hop into a short. We could really still go either way today. It just depends on what everyone decides to do after the lunch break. VIX is still hovering right around that 1960 to 1970 range. Again, I would like to see that go up to around 20, which would mean, of course, a little bit more of a downward movement. But I might not get it today. And I'm actually surprised, that the VIX is as low as it is right now. I mean, it's still pretty up there, but I would figure it'd be up around 20 right now, 20 to 21, but nothing ever seems to do what you expect it to, right? So I'd like to submit another trade during the stream, but don't know if this market's gonna allow me to. So like I said, just overall, today we've only done one trade so far today at 9:05 a.m. Central Time till about 9:23, just a 3-point scalp. It says we're up 112 on the day. That is simply including everything that went on the second that I did. It might even include what happened on the first. I think it's doing this because of the whole Labor Day thing. Technically, the market hasn't been open since Friday. I don't know why it's saying I'm up 112 on the day. I'm actually only up 15 on the day, which after my fees and commission ends up being like 12.75. So haven't made a lot of profit today, but again, keep it in perspective. Micro E-mini is 1/10 of the E-mini. So I'm up $12.50 after fees and commissions on the day. What would I be up on the E-mini? I'd be up $125 essentially on the E-mini. So you have to keep it in perspective. So we're getting a little bit of a downward tick here. We'll see if we can get a little bit of pull it back up. Oh man, gotta love the low volume. I think tomorrow and Thursday will be a little bit more interesting. I mean, we had a good idea already. If you've been following the futures since Sunday night, we had a good idea that the market was going to be down anywhere between 0.5% to 1%. Today, we're down about 0.75% right now. The market just really hasn't given us shit lately. Good little scalps here and there. I mean, if you time, and that's the thing, you got to time it perfectly for these scalps too. You get in here around 28.98, run it up to right around there. You get a little 10-point scalp there, little 3, 4, just little scalps. I mean, there's nothing. The market's not giving us a whole lot to really work with, other than this morning. This morning we had that big rush to the downside. If you were patient and held, you made roughly like 20 points. Or not 20 points, about 13 points. 13 to 15 points. Which 13 to 15 points, again, on that E-mini, that is a huge profit, guys. $50 per point times 13. I mean, you're talking $650. And even on the Micro E-mini, it's a $65 profit. But still just waiting, which that's what I do about 90% of the day, is I sit here and wait. And once I end the stream, I'm probably going to set some alerts up because I don't literally just sit at my laptop all day, unlike some people do. But I'll set some alerts up. Probably I'll set one up right around like 29:01. I'll set one up again at like 28.97.50. That's where I'll set another one, and then on the upside, I'll set one up probably at 29. I'll probably go ahead and start doing that, actually. We'll create an alert at 29:08. I guess we'll do that at 25. Set one up. 29:01. Then I'll set my other one up at 29:07.50. So I got a couple alerts set up, and this is what I do whenever I'm just planning on not staying at the laptop, because obviously the whole point of me taking off is to spend some time with our newborn. So I mean, I'm not just gonna sit here for 12 hours just looking at a screen. Of course, I got other stuff to do. So I just set these alerts up a lot of times. I'll keep my laptop and everything opened up. That way if my alerts go off, then I run up here and look at making a trade. But it's something I definitely suggest you guys do. And I'm sure a lot of you do, especially any of you that do this full time or anything like that. You probably have some kind of similar system. The one thing I wish we could do, which we can't, is set alerts on the indicators. Because I would set, instead of setting my alerts like this, what I would do is set my alerts on my RSI and my MACD, to where once we show signs of oversold or overbought, I get notified, and then that's where I'd make my trade, of course. Other than that, I mean, I wouldn't really. It would save me a lot of time if I could set alerts on my indicators. So, if anyone from TD Ameritrade ever sees this video, that is something. And who knows, maybe you can and I'm just doing it wrong, but I don't really see any way for me to do it. So, if anyone from TD Ameritrade sees this, you guys should put that as an option on Thinkorswim. So like I said, we're probably just going to stay in between this little range during the lunch hour. Probably not going to get a whole lot of movement going. I thought maybe we were there for a minute, but for the time being, we're just kind of hanging out right around that 2904 area. 2904, 2905. Let's see. You can set an alert based on a study. So, are you saying that's like what I need to do is go into my studies, see, save study set. Let's see. Oh, let's see. You added another comment. Use the price, drop down to study. What do you mean by use the price? Let's see. It wouldn't be my create alert, right? Or is it? Oh, okay. So you go to your study. Oh, okay. Well, awesome. There you go. You learn something new. See, that's the whole point of this, is for us to learn off one another. So let's see, we have, well, I don't want to use my simple moving average. Let me see here. What can I do? So it says simple moving average. Let's see what you said. See, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm wondering if I'm doing this wrong. I'm trying to figure out how to get it. Let's see if I can do add a condition. Study. Okay. So now what I want is my RSI. So we go down here. So this is actually a good little, I guess, tutorial. I should probably do a video about this, if I can even figure it out. Where's my RSI? Relative Strength Index. Did I miss it? Relative RMI. Relative Volatility. That's not what I want. There we go, RSI. Okay, so I'd probably do is less or equal to I do price on that or value is less or equal to, and in that case we would say 40. So the length is 1470, oversold, or no, yeah, that'd be 30. Sorry about that. 30 is our oversold. Let's see here. So I want to save that. So I don't know if it's saved. Let's see here. Guess we'll add it again, and I'll want to do it to the upside too. So that'd be our study. Wonder what's RSI crossover. I think this might be what I want, but let me see here. Okay. Greater than or equal to. Oops, that's not what I meant. Value and the overbought. I'll set that at 70. So, I think I did that right, but I don't know. If you're still watching Raw Trades, let me know if I did that right or not. And if I did, is it not going to show up like as an alert being set like you would for your price? I want to take a look too at let's see, create alert. The values that I was wanting, that I think I plugged in, were 30 and 70, pretty much for whenever it goes oversold or overbought. So like what I did is I went over to how the hell did I do this actually? So we'll do study, and I moved over here. I put add condition, which I'm assuming is how you do it, and then I did study, and then I came down to the RSI. I can find it again. I came over to RSI, and then I did greater than or equal to, and then I hit the value, and then I set it at 70, and then I did the opposite also for less than or equal to, and I did it as 30. I'm just wondering if that's how you're supposed to do it, or if you're supposed. I think so. I think I did that right, but like I said, I'm not 100% positive. Another thing I was thinking about trying too was where it said RSI crossover. I've never used that personally, but it sounds. Let's go down here and find it. RSI crossover. I've never used that before though, so I would not know how to use that. So it shows the length is 14, threshold 30. But like I said, I don't know much about the RSI crossover, so I'd want to look more into that. But yeah, that was how I set it up. I don't know for sure if that was right exactly, but I guess we'll figure it out once this thing decides to go oversold or overbought, and we'll see if it notifies me or not. But yeah, that was what I did, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for the info on that, because I think we might have figured that out. That might be how you do that, I would think. Still just hovering in this range. Our DMI is starting to show a little bit of signs of selling. Once this gets up over 30 is when I usually. Once this gets over 30, you start to see signs of oversold conditions too. So almost everything tends to go hand in hand here, especially on the minute chart. Whenever it's like time to buy or time to sell, we'll see what happens overall. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully we're doing all right on the stream. We still got 5 of you tuning in. I don't know if any of you all are new. If you're new, definitely click that subscribe button below. I know I've mentioned it a couple times, but I don't know if people are hopping in and new people hopping out. But if you're new, we'd love to have you here. I think we got like 700 of us here now. Just love to see that number keep growing. And if you're not already in our Discord group chat, it's totally free. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel at all. Don't plan on it ever. But that group's down in the description box. There's like 100 plus of us in there now. So it's awesome to see that community grow day by day. So yeah, just as expected, boring half an hour to an hour here we got going on. We're now close to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 here in the central U.S. here in Dallas, Texas. But we are just kind of sitting around waiting, so to speak. And actually, the Discord, I have it pulled up here. Like I said, we post a lot, just a lot of us saying like where we're getting in, getting out. Now, don't get in there. Don't hop in that trade room and just try to expect us to tell you how to trade, because that's not going to happen. And don't ever trade based off of anyone's opinion, of course. But it's a good group just to go in there, get different ideas from each other. Not everyone trades the same thing. I mean, we have different chats in there. I mean, we even talked about thrifting. Those of you that are going through a debt-free journey, financial freedom, trading inverse ETFs, swing trading, options, penny stocks. I mean, there's all that stuff in there. We don't really use those chats a lot. I use the announcements to let you guys know when I'm going live and whatnot. But we don't really use those channels as much as we should. But, I mean, we talk about everything money-wise in there. So, like I said, that link's down in the description box. And if you haven't heard of like Tastyworks before, this is who I use for my trading. They have very, very, very low commissions. I'm not like getting paid by them or anything to mention their name or nothing. But if you're interested in like their fee structure and whatnot, I believe I do have a link like to them. Like it takes you like right to a page, I believe, that shows all their fees and commissions for like trading stocks, options, futures, all that good stuff. That should be down in the description box as well. The alert was created, so let's see. Go to Market Watch, alerts. Now let's see what you said. Go to alerts and you should see it. So I see. The only ones that I'm seeing is my price condition ones. That's weird. Let's see here. So what the hell did I do wrong then? So let's go over like what I did. So like I said, I came down here. What did we do? I forget. Create alert. I came down to the study, like we said, came down to edit, and then is this where I'm doing it wrong? I'm hitting add condition. You should click create alert after the study. Like, I'm assuming I need to do add condition. Let's just delete that. So we'll add condition, study, go back down to the RSI. Oversold. So if we're oversold, we'd say less than or equal to. Or I guess we just say cross below, right? I didn't mean study. I meant value. And select function. So then here I would hit 30. Oversold 30. And then you just hit save, right? Because that's what I did, but that's exactly what I did this last time, was I just hit save. So let's see if... So RSI oversold, cross below 30. That was not there before, so I think we might have gotten this figured out now. Let's see. And then create. Okay. Might have gotten that figured out now. Let's see. So we go to Market Watch, alerts. Okay, study. Oversold, current is false, of course, and it's active. Okay, so that should be right now. Okay, awesome. I think we might figure that out. So then I want to go up here and do it again. Create an alert. And then I'll go to study again. What's cool is it keeps it there too for you. So you can set the alert over and over again. We're going to add a condition. Study. RSI over bot, and we'll say crosses above, and we'll say 70, save. I don't think that stuck that time. Let's see, create, and then let's see if that one's stuck. Alert. Oversold. Or shit. Or okay, yeah, there we go. So we have, so this one actually is doing oversold and overbought now. They both are. Uh-oh, are we falling now? Let's go over here, see what's going on. So I guess we'll maybe get ready to put this into live action now and see if it works. Awesome, yeah. Thanks a lot for that, Raw Trades. I think what happened was I didn't hit create, so it didn't like go through. I think that's what happened there. So we're getting close to that 30 level on the DMI, which if you all don't know what DMI is, I actually just learned recently about it a little bit from Mike in our Discord group chat. DMI, like what I do is like the red is the sell signal, green is your buy signal. Obviously when they cross, that means like you're probably getting ready to go in this case, do a little bit of selling, as you can see right here. And then when they cross again, that means buying. Anytime this gets above 30 on the minute chart, that's when I tend to go ahead and go opposite of what's going on. Usually the RSI, like in this case, once it extends a little bit further, the RSI is probably going to pull down, which at that point would be a good time to maybe scalp a good little buy opportunity. But how you set this up is we have it in the studies, edit. So you can see our DMI here. We have them set at 20 for our links. Your DI plus is set at 20, green because the plus is your buy signal. Red is your sell signal for the DI minus, 20 as well. ADX, that's just neutral, essentially, is what the ADX is. And we keep it gray since it's neutral. And everything, like I said, all the links are set at 20. I don't set alerts for it. It's just something that I kind of look at kind of as just another indicator, essentially, of where the market's at and where it could be going from here. So, market is slowly but surely trying to head back down a little bit, but just not going oversold. So we're down about 6 or 7 points from the recent little pop we had. So if you shorted that, you had a good little trade there. Oil continuing to go down 3% on the day. VIX continuing to creep up. Like I said, I would like to see this test 20 before going long, but obviously if we go oversold, then I'll go ahead and buy. But I'd like to see that VIX creep on up to 20, which if it does, then we're probably talking about retesting that 28.95 level. Weak economic data. Out of where? So I don't know if you guys keep up with like all the PMI numbers and all that, but China just had an expansion level of PMI. Their PMI was the best it's been in, I think they said 3 quarters, almost a year. And their PMI is actually showing economic expansion for the first time in a while, it sounds like. So you gotta be careful with these news people. They all have an agenda at the end of the day. They pick and choose what headlines they want to talk about, what numbers they want to talk about. Everyone in the news, if that's what you want to call them, is all over this whole recession talk right now. You know why? Because the U.S. elections are coming up next year. I don't understand how you could hate someone so much that you'd rather have the country fail than a president succeed, but whatever. To each their own. Wow, Bitcoin up quite a bit on the day, or that can't be right. Hold on. Let's go take a look at that. BTC. Yeah. No. Is that right? Bitcoin's up 1,100 on the day. Don't even get me started on Bitcoin though. I don't trade it. I probably never will. If you trade Bitcoin, I'm not mad at you. Go make your money. Any means necessary, of course. Me, on the other hand, I just stick with what I know. But yeah, Bitcoin's having a hell of a day today. So I'm sure the whole crypto market's doing pretty good. Which, I mean, I've heard a lot of that actually. Whenever the market goes down, Bitcoin tends to go on up with gold, which is a pretty interesting correlation. Let's take a look at that actually. So we have BTC here. Let's just take a look at the 1-day chart first. Then let's take a look at GC. So, I mean, they're not moving 100% with one another, but, I mean, damn it. I mean, they're moving pretty close. Pretty close with one another. Let's pull up a 5-day chart. BTC, Bitcoin, and then gold futures. Again, they're not moving 100%, but, I mean, there's slight correlation. I mean, they both tend to move up whenever the market seems to be not doing so well. So that's interesting. I've been hearing a lot about that over the last week or two, that the two things to buy when the market is in uncertainty is gold and Bitcoin. Like I said, I never will buy either of them, but to each their own. I mean, if you can make money in it, I'm not against it at the end of the day. It's just not for me, not my trading style. But, well, I guess on this note, since it looks like we're still kind of going a little bit sideways, let's see here. Do you trade off the 1-minute chart? For the most part, I mean, the 1-minute chart is where I tend to, like, because you got to think. I mean, I do more so scalping. I mean, I don't really hold stuff for like a whole day, anything like that. I just do like quick little 3 to 10 point movers. You can see throughout my activity. Like I said, I've only been trading these now for a week, but you can see. I mean, all of mine are usually like you can see 3 points here, about 6 points there, 6 points there, 4 points. I mean, I usually do like 3 to 8 points usually for most of my trades, just quick little in and out type of trades. I don't really like to hold and sit around, and I mean, I'm trying to work on that a little bit as a trader. Try to be a little bit more patient with my trades, because like my trade this morning, if I just stuck it out, let me see where we at here. So this is 10 a.m. Let's go back to where that trade was. I bought my trade right around here. I sold it right here after a little bit of resistance. If I just held out the trade and at least let my price target get hit, literally 5 minutes later my price target got hit, I would have made another $10 at least. And if I would have held a little bit longer, to where I even mentioned in the stream that I thought we could possibly retest around 29.05, then I would have made another $40 on that trade. So I mean, I am trying to work on that as a trader, time it a little bit better. But I mean, you're never going to time everything perfect at the end of the day. Like I always say, I'd rather take my profit off the table too early than too late, of course. But yeah, for the most part, I just use the 1 minute. Whenever I'm getting ready to go into a trade, I'll bounce through every chart just to kind of see where we're at. Like right now, I think we're getting ready to pull down a little bit further just by looking at the overall. Every chart that I've looked at so far indicates a little bit of a downward tick probably soon. But the ones I use the most are 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 as well, which we're currently on. And then for broader, kind of just to get an overall look at the market, I do the 1 hour and then the 1 day. And very rarely, but occasionally, I'll use this 4 hour chart as well, which you can see we're starting to go neutral overall. So overall, the market could go either way this afternoon. My gut's just telling me more downside pressure, just because it's what the market wants to do. Honestly, I think today we're probably going to end down about 0.75% on the S&P 500, and then tomorrow there'll be some Trump tweet about good talks with Chinese or something, and the market will come up 20 points or something like that. Pretty much wipe out everything that happened today. So we'll see what happens though overall. And I really only stick to the minute and 5 minute chart when it comes to my overnight trades, because overnight you don't have a whole lot of volume. We'll go back here a little bit. So obviously a lot less volume. You're talking less than 100 per minute in most cases. So the 1 minute chart almost always tells the tale. Once we approach signs of overbought, oversold, relatively quickly you're going to make a move to the upside. So I don't think was this when I did my trade last night? Let's take a look. So I did mine at 707 to 727. So see, looky there. Right there. So right here. So see, this one I timed perfectly, which doesn't happen a lot, obviously. But 707, and then boom, hopped in, wrote it up. Like I said, how much did we make on that? I think we made a little bit on that one. 6 points. So that was the only trade I did last night too, because I just got in, got out, had some BS family stuff going on that I had to deal with. Just wasn't able to trade for a little bit, but and then nothing really happened. Last night was actually pretty fucking boring, to be honest. I didn't trade after that one trade last night, but overnight trading, yeah, I usually only use the 1 minute and 5 minute chart. Sometimes I'll go up to the 15 or 30 minute for a little bit of confirmation, but for the most part, yeah, that 1 minute and 5 minute tend to tell the tale for me, at least for my shorter term trades. But let's see, hopefully we're still doing all right. Hopefully the microphone situation and the stream and everything's been doing okay for you all. I know way back when now it seems we had some mic issues on a few streams, but I did go finally buy a new microphone recently, and I think that's made a world of difference for the streams. But I guess on that note, since we're just kind of going sideways right now, we probably will be for at least the next half hour. I'm probably going to go ahead and hop off here. I know my fiance needs to come upstairs and do some stuff in the room and whatnot, and probably wants to be relieved from the baby for a little bit. So I'm going to go help her out for a little bit. I might hop on again later on this afternoon, maybe a evening trading session video, something like that. If not, then I'll definitely be back on again live tomorrow for you guys. And then, of course, in Discord, I'll be keeping all of you guys updated in there. If you haven't already, that link's down in the description box. Like I said, it's free to join, super easy to join. Don't charge for anything with this channel. And if you're new to the channel, again, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the bell icon. That way you'll be notified if we go live tonight or first thing tomorrow morning for some stock market trading. We would love to have you here, of course. But I guess on that note, hopefully you guys have been staying green. Hopefully you started green this week. Like I said, we're up just on the day, $15 after fees and commissions, like $12 to $13. We're just waiting for another opportunity. So hopefully you guys are having a good day, good start to your week. Hopefully you had a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks to all of you that tuned in. It looks like we've had 5 of you in throughout most of the live stock market stream. So if you like the stream, definitely make sure to smash that thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, if you haven't already, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider that subscribe button below. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys maybe sometime later on today, but if not, then for sure tomorrow morning for some live stock market trading. But until then, take it easy, guys.